Hello, everyone. Welcome to our podcast. And today we have Adria with us, and she has done a lot of things. She started her career into stage and performance and stuff, theater. She started it at the age of 10, and when she exited from there, she was 50. She has given half of her life performing, coming on stage. She has won, Woman of the Year award and many more, right? And at the age of 50, she had this question, who am I, right? And at this age, people are basically, I'm lazy, I want retirement, I want this and that. And I want a simple life where she wanted to know more and live more, passionately. And I have had a chat with her. She's amazing. And, she is professor, she's a life coach, she is also an entrepreneur, and is also adding healing modalities to her services to make sure people she works with are being healed from all the traumas. And last but not the least, she is very passionate about singing and she has traveled all around the world. So I will, give Adri you the stage here and tell a bit about yourself to the audience. We'll start with the first thing first. How you got into this, stage and theater? What got you into that, and how was it when you were young? I know, it's gonna be pretty old memories and stuff, but do you remember anything? Tell us a
I
bit about it.
I do, Hans, I do. I was, I think, very lucky to have a little Italian grandmother. Her name was taller than she was. Her name was Antonietta Mastroianni Calabrese. It sounds like an aria, doesn't it? Okay, so my grandmother adored opera, and I adored my grandmother. She is the one who introduced me to opera, and she would tell me these stories, and I would start crying, and I would think it was so fabulous. And I realized, ooh, I can make that noise. And the minute I realized I could make that sound and I could see the delight in her face, she was so happy that I could, that I started singing when I was 7. When I was 7 years old. When I was 5 years old, I was modeling. So by 10 years old, I walked on stage for the first time, and
Mhm.
I found a world that was so much more beautiful than my life, with the light and the costumes and the makeup and the beauty of the stories. So I spent literally more than half of my life on the international stage. Then I started really going into it, and I did operas and I did musical theater. I did cabaret. I put myself through college by singing on Miami Beach and by singing, doing a one woman show. And it was extraordinary. I mean, I sang for the Sultan of Oman. I sang for the Queen of Thailand. I had an extraordinary life that I never would have had, I think, with any other career, Hans. It was extraordinary. It was beautiful to see the world. And while we all come in all these beautiful colors, we have such beautiful colors and beautiful features, we're all the same. And that's what I understood of seeing this beautiful world, is that all of us are like little children with our arms held out saying, please love me, please appreciate me. And so often that doesn't happen in this world. And so it's a very beautiful thing to open people's hearts with song, because everything is vibration, yes? Even a stone vibrates, lettuce vibrates, we human vibrates. Everything is vibration. So to be part of that vibration is a great privilege. And it saved my life. The stage saved my life because I came from a place of great abuse, and I sublimated it, pushed it down, and walked into that world of beauty. And I stayed there and I grew there and learned so much about myself and the world.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing your deep things which people are not usually confident enough to talk about.
Mm,
They young abuse, I'll say.
yeah.
I have talked to a lot of women, and I've heard from a lot of them that they have gone through these things, but whenever it comes to talking in front of the people that this has happened, they're not very confident. Right?
No, no. And I know that even though it's not a pleasant thing to reveal,
Mhm.
but if it was not for everything that I went through in my life, and I mean everything, I mean the good and the horrible and the bad and the fabulous, all of those things, it's not the incidences themselves. It is my reaction, my soul growth, meeting all of these things that happen. And that is makes me Adria. That makes me who I am.
Yes.
So it's part of being willing to share your heart because we've all had these things happen to us, sometimes more tragic, sometimes more serious, sometimes lighter, but we've all had pain. It's part of being an earth school. That's all.
And I have learned these things as well because I'm like really into all these psychological stuff. I love it.
Me too.
People try to basically go towards the happy feelings, the emotions which feels good to them. So they want to be rich because that will make them feel they are on high status, where they want to just run for things that makes them happy,
Yes.
and they want to feel good about the life, right? But when it comes to their emotions which makes them cry, which makes them go away from the people, which makes them at the rock bottom, they're so afraid of feeling that emotions that they're like they just keep running away from those emotions, and they just live life differently. And but the emotions are emotions. They are like your life is made up of different emotions. There is no one in the world who has only felt happy for the rest of his life. So you should just accept it and feel it as a part of your life, and then you will be able to enjoy full of your life.
Hans, I could not agree with you more because I too pushed down. Let's look at our lives as though there's an iceberg. So, an
Uh-huh.
iceberg, there's only this little tiny bit of the iceberg at the top that we can see. And then there's this big, big, big part of the iceberg that's under the water. Well, that's where all our unconscious and subconscious feelings are. And what we're not realizing is that those sadnesses, the unhappiness, the unwillingness to admit your own fear, your shortcomings, your humanity, what happens, that underneath is still controlling your life and you just don't realize it. So when I ran to the stage, I was running from pain to something that was beautiful. Okay, I admit I was running to something more beautiful. And I didn't even realize, Hans, how the abuse had affected me. I didn't realize it because it was too painful at so young an age, especially to try to understand what I had gone through. So, what happens is you push it down, you push it down, you push it down, and then it starts controlling your life. And then you wonder, well, wait a minute, nothing is happening the way I want. It's because that's why so many people are emotionally unavailable because you hit the nail on the head by saying they're afraid. They're afraid, they are afraid of meeting their own shadow self. But you see, when you meet the shadow allows the light to be seen. It's that contrast in our lives that will allow us to heal and to be truly seen. And that takes guts. It really does. It takes enormous amount of courage.
Yeah. So Andrea,
Really does.
now when you were going through all these things,
Yeah.
when you made the decision, you came to understand, oh, what is happening? I need to get out of this. What
Hmm.
what are the things maybe you learned throughout that period, which I'll say, helped you to get out of it?
Well, and this sounds so strange. I tried every healing modality that I could find. I tried therapy. I tried EFT tapping. I tried EMDR. I was ready to meet a witch doctor at midnight at the crossroads. I was desperate to find healing. And I'm not saying that it didn't work, because it did. I started to realize so many things about myself and about why I would react in a certain way. And then consciously I would say to myself, well, why did you do that? But it's because of what was underneath the bottom of the iceberg that was making me act in a certain way. Only when I found what I recently became certified in, something called trauma memory resolution technique, was I able to use neurolinguistic programming along with hypnotic suggestion to change and shift mindset. It is so astounding. In less than one session, I started to feel, wait a minute. It's like someone took off a huge layer of myself. And all of a sudden I was going, oh my goodness, I'm thinking differently. I don't feel like hiding anymore. And that is after all of these years of working and working and working to heal and release my own trauma. I'm not saying it didn't work. It did work, but not enough for me to say, now I know I'm going to get out there, and now I'm truly willing to be seen, and I'm not going to make it all look pretty and adorable. I'm just going to tell it like it is, because that is going to help more people.
Adria, you have won the Woman of the Year award. Yeah. So, tell us a bit about it. How was that feeling, on the top of the world, or how was it?
No, it was, the funny thing is, Hans, it wasn't top of the world. I was in Spoleto, Italy, okay? And Giancarlo Menotti called me there to do an audition. And then they picked me to do Carmen in their production for that summer, the Spoleto Festival. And then it was fascinating, but as always, the reality of life is not as beautiful as what you see on stage in the beautiful light. The glamour, I like to say, the glamour is when your makeup is perfect, your costume looks great, you walk on stage, the beautiful lights are there, and that's 5 minutes before you start sweating. That's glamour. The rest of it is not glamorous. It's very hard work. So when I got Woman of the Year, they invited me to this elaborate party. And I go there, and there's nobody there. There was nobody there. And Spoleto is a little town that is this big, okay? And I'm wondering, what is going on? And this person comes up to me and says, all in Italian, in passionate Italian, I'm so sorry. Everything is messed up and we can't get what we wanted to get. And maybe we can do it tomorrow, but we're not sure. I'm so sorry. Here's the award. But what we wanted to do the big party, and everything fell apart, and I'm so sorry. He was practically crying. And I was trying to make him feel better. I was trying to say, sweetheart, it's okay, don't worry, it's okay. So I have this beautiful award. But what happened is, an artist friend of mine who was a sculptor came and said, come, bellezza, come with me, beautiful one. Let's go to my own party. We're going to have a party for you right now. I ended up at this beautiful party. They gave me this gorgeous sculpture, and it was the funniest, most strange situation. You see that it's not all glamorous. So that was Woman of the Year.
Awesome. That's a totally, different came out to be the story I was expecting.
I know. I've never even expected. I don't think anyone asked me that question about how it was. Since you asked me, I told you.
So, Adria, when you were at the age of 50 and when you left that stage, one thing is, tell us a bit about how you feel when you are like, because when we work, right? So
Yes.
we're so passionate about that thing. We
Yes.
give like years, like we spend our day and night just to make that one
Is
thing
doing
work,
that. Yes.
right? and then that is kind of your part of your big part of your life, right? Full part of
Sure.
your life. Say,
It was everything.
leaving that, leaving that after doing it for 40 years, how was it? And then what got you into, what made you think you want to be professor, right? Give us both of the, angles there.
I'm going to say that what I was noticing after so many years and so much travel, that I was beginning to feel burnout. I didn't really want to admit that I was feeling that. I was trying to ignore it, push it aside. But I started to feel, if I see one more theater, one more airport, one more hotel, I don't care that it's 5 stars, I'm done. I mean, I would bring my incense with me so that the hotel would smell more like a home, but it was still a hotel. And I was in Cordoba getting ready. Ironically, it was to do a Carmen. And I heard a voice. And the voice, there was nobody around me. I was backstage doing my yoga, getting ready to go on stage. And I hear a voice that says to me, Adria, this is the last Carmen you will ever do. And I stopped dead. I look around, there's nobody there.
Mhm.
And the feeling in every fiber of my being was, Adria, you just heard the truth. And I went, what am I going to do? Am I going to get on stage and start crying? How do I handle this? And I went, you're a professional. Go do your job. And I went and I did my job. In 24 months, Hans, I had wrapped up all the contracts. I didn't sign any more contracts. And I walked off stage. And I walked off stage, and my question to myself was, who am I now? I had no idea. I had no idea because it was fine. When you asked me, what do you do? I would say, I'm an opera singer. I'm a music theater. I'm an actor. It was very clear, defined, very clearly defined. This is what I do. Obviously, that's who I am. No, when you take away that label, who am I now? And it was only at that time when I started to realize you have to go to the bottom of the iceberg. You're going to have to dive down into the iceberg and find out who you really are and what you were running away from, even though you don't want to look at it. That's one. Two, I was getting ready to move. And when you do shows, your colleagues at opening night or at closing night will give a little gift, or they will write a little note. And I started reading these notes. I was getting ready to move, and I thought, well, maybe I shouldn't take this scrapbook with me. And I'm reading, and it was saying, oh, Adria, I loved your Aida. It was so fabulous. But oh, Adria, thank you. You changed my life. The way you listened to me, the advice you gave me. And this was note after note after note after note saying the same thing. And I said, oh my, I think I need to become a coach, because I had people coming to me just telling me about their lives, asking me what should I do and how should I handle this and what do you think of that. So I went back to school. I became a coach. I started teaching at a university. And I realized that the students who cross my path, especially in that tender age of being whether it's a freshman or a graduate student, there is such a lack of confidence because the world tells you that you need to be a certain way so that you'll be approved of, and they don't have the confidence to believe in themselves. And that's where I come in. Because yes, of course, I'm teaching them how to put their vocal cords together and make a pretty noise. It's not about that. It's not about that at all. I'm teaching them to have confidence in themselves. So I get to use all of my coaching ability when I'm teaching. That's kind of a, under the table, but it happens. It happens, and it's wonderful. And one of my students got a golden ticket on American Idol. So, I mean, it's very exciting when I see them exploding into themselves. That's a really exciting thing. So
Or
I needed to examine my life and to start doing all of these things as well.
you said one of your students got inside America, uh,
Yeah, American Idol.
and sorry. So for a teacher, they win when the student win. Like like for all the top good teachers, they don't want money. Like they want money for a living. Of course, they're gonna charge you, of course, right? Then you're gonna value they think their services, you're gonna take everything seriously. But they feel so good when you really win. And that you even saying that out loud right now says a
Yes,
lot, right? Says a lot that
yes.
how much it meant for you that one of your student got inside that stage.
It fills
Uh,
my heart up. It's so thrilling that I feel,
mhm.
Hans, that I am meant to be on the path of that particular student at that particular moment. And I give it my all. I give it my all. So, yeah.
Hmm.
And coaching in a sense is the same, except coaching is, I usually coach midlife women who have gone through what I went through when I was 50 years old and saying, "Oh my goodness, I hate my job. I don't want to do my job anymore. Who am I now?" Or I had a house full of kids and I was taking care of them, and now I'm an empty nester and there's no one there. Or I've been downsized, or I've been divorced. I've been disempowered. I don't know who I am anymore. So I have many, many tools that help these women understand the beauty of who they are and getting re-inspired, because that's when you walk into the world and the time period of being a wise woman. If you're willing to embrace that, oh my, it's very powerful. It's very powerful. Not in American society. In American society, you're 50 years old, you're individual, who you're invisible now, who cares about you? But I know the value of someone who has lived and who has had enormous experience. And so that's very, very valuable. And that's that feminine energy within a man and within a woman is very valuable to integrate that energy, because that helps heal our world, not just ourselves. Because the more healed we are, the more the ripples of who we are go out into this world. And that makes a huge difference, a huge difference.
Andrea, can you share a story about your student maybe or someone who came to you in a very difficult situation, and you were able to basically help them and get to the next stage of their life, that transition they were looking forward to, they were eagerly wanting that, and they didn't know what to do, where you came and basically changed their life from there.
Oh gosh, there's like three that have rushed to my head. I'm going to pick one. Okay. So I had a very small coaching group, because I
Mhm.
also enjoy coaching in groups, because we also help each other when we're in a group. The group energy is a very beautiful thing. So this lovely woman named Caroline.
Uh-huh.
Caroline came to this group with an attitude of, this is never going to work. Yeah, my daughter-in-law told me that I should be here. Fine. Yeah, okay, I'm here. Well, all right. So I'll tell you about me. I hate my job. My relationship is nothing. I'm very unhappy where I'm living. I'm just really unhappy. I said, okay, that's okay. That's where you are right now. So let's work from there. So I would go through the you are the artist of your life, the life formula of looking at your life, accepting where you are, learning to ask for what you really want, not what you think you can get, and then taking action. And we did a coaching session. I did for each person, I did a one-on-one coaching session. And when we finished the coaching session, she said to me, "Oh, I didn't think a coaching session was going to be like that. You're just very strange." And I said, "That's okay. That's okay as long as there's something that you got from it that you can use." Well, yeah, but I didn't expect it to be like that. And every time, Hans, that I would come up with, okay, now this week we're going to be working on this. Oh, I don't know. I don't think that'll work. I don't like I mean, absolute resistance. Every time I came up with another idea, there was resistance. Well, all I can say to you is 6 months later, this woman says to me, Adria, Adria, it happened. I got the job I want. I got rid of the one I hated and they promoted me to the other thing. And just like you said, I showed them what I could do. And all of a sudden they asked me to do what I love doing. And you know something? Because I'm so happy. Well, my honey, our relationship is all different now. And he asked me to get married and I'm getting married. And you know what? I hate my apartment. We're buying a house together. Hans, we're talking about somebody who every other word was, I hate this, I can't stand this, and that's not going to work, and I don't like this, to this woman saying, I can't say enough about how you changed my life.
Yeah,
It
that's
was extraordinary. It was just so fabulous. She looked 20 years younger because she was so happy. She was so happy. It's
sounds like
fabulous.
really
It's
great
fabulous.
advice. Thank you for sharing that. It sounds like really good. Sometimes we think about it, and personally, in any sector of our life, right? We're somewhere stuck, and there's someone who can help us. But
Yes.
we're so
Yes.
stuck in our own mind. We have that mindset. This will not work. This will not work. And oh, what will happen? Like they are just trying to make money from me, and things like that. That they
Exactly.
never think about. No, the other person also can help me. They want to help me. That's why they are sitting there. That's why I'm sitting here. Right. That's why there is a gap.
Hans, I agree with you because I was an only child, because I was raised in such a difficult situation that I was in. And then I'm the leading lady. The leading lady, it's a nice title on the outside, but in a sense, you're alone because you're the center of a group. You have an enormous amount of responsibility, but you come to a place by yourself, you leave by yourself, you have to learn how to take care of yourself. And what happens is you think erroneously, you start thinking, well, this happened, I have to take care of it. I just have to take it. And it was so difficult for me to say, can you please help me? I really need some help. Hans, if I didn't get to a place because of the finances, because of everything that I went through with my darling husband, it I was so depressed and down and had let everything go that I thought, what am I still doing on this earth? Literally, it was that serious. Why am I still here? And then I saw this masterclass and I said, wait a minute, don't give up yet. Don't give up yet. Go for one of these sessions, ask for help, get the help. And I did. And I loved it so much that I became certified in it. But I needed to reach out and say, please help me. And it's not an investment like I'm going to buy a diamond to put on my nose. No, the most valuable money that you can spend is on healing yourself, on giving yourself more, because the happier you are, the more authentic you are connected to your soul, the more you have to give to this world. Instead of thinking, I'm all by myself on an island, what am I doing here? So I know what both sides feel like, Hans, because I've been there.
Yeah. That's where there are a lot of coaches who teach something, but they have not really gone through it like deeply. But that's where, someone, you choosing this industry or these niche because you have went through that. And that's why,
I've
right?
been through I am not teaching anything that I have not been through.
Yeah, that's where, you can feel that. You can feel the person. You can feel where they are stuck. And, they're trying it for 4 months. When you will come in, you will know if they try for 10 more days, it will work. You'll have
Yes.
that is where
Yes.
they need your hand, but they just leave at the end of 4 months. They just don't go
Or they
more.
want to do one session with you. And I say, one session with a coach? Do you really expect to go to a gym and say, oh, in one session, I'm going to lose 20 pounds, I'm going to gain 10 pounds of muscle, and I'm going to be really strong? Can you do that in one session? And they look at me, oh, well, no, but this is coach. I said, it's the same thing. You didn't get where you are instantaneously. This takes time. Please give yourself the opportunity to really do this.
it's
It's
it's the
huge.
it's the same thing. We do a lot of, help whatever with the businesses and stuff. And in
Yeah.
the same thing, we use the same thing phrase, which is like, don't try, like, because you are jumping on call with them for 30 minutes, let's say, right? Within that 30 minutes, you cannot teach them anything. They have spent their 40 years of their life to have a thought. They have something they believe. You cannot change it in 30 minutes, right? So don't do that. Just listen to them. Just like, people who sell more are the people who really care, like, who really, really, really care, and the other person feels that. Like,
Yes.
people are so smart, they can feel you what you want out of them.
You can pretend all you want. You can put on masks, but people know what's going on. They feel
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
They
100%.
feel it. They definitely do. They definitely
Atya,
do.
tell us about your business. People who are listening to this want to know, let's say, want to know what you do exactly, right? And how they can. We'll talk later about how they can reach out. I will help on that. But
Certainly beautiful.
about your entrepreneurship journey and what you are doing right now.
Well, what I am doing right now is, of course, I've written books. I do speaking. I integrate my singing and my speaking. But passionately, what I am here to do is to share in my coaching, that my coaching as a rapid results coach, which to me means I do want to do it fast. I
Yeah,
don't say that we need to work for a year. We can do it in 90 days if you're willing to dedicate your attention.
yeah,
So it is to have my clients realize that they are the artists of their lives, that we are the ones who pick the colors, we pick the design, we pick the paintbrushes. We are the one who design our lives. And if we don't like that life, we are powerful enough to change it. And when you get help, because a lot of times what can be in the way of you changing your design and picking new colors and getting new brushes is, one, like you just said, the mindset. The mindset is, I always do it this way. No. Let your middle name be learning. Be a lifelong learner. Be willing to learn, be willing to listen, be willing to be flexible and to change. So I have the central modality right now of my You Are the Artist of Your Life design coaching is that it is something called a trauma memory resolution technique. And when someone is stuck in their life, when they have just gone through a divorce, when they've gone through deaths in the family, when they have gone through life transition, career transition, all of a sudden you're downsized and you don't know who you are anymore. Well, I have modalities that will help you relieve some of the pressure of the stuckness so that you start looking at your life in a new way. And when you start looking at your life in a new way and you realize that you have the power to change it, and that's what my coaching gives you, is the realization.
yeah,
One, accept And it is three keys. I'm going to share with your audience right now. It's three keys. The first is acceptance. Acceptance, not saying, oh, gee, I wish my life. No, 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 no. Where is your life right now? Yeah, but I don't like what. That's okay. Accept where your life is right now. In other words, be honest with yourself. And then write down what you don't like about it. Look at it and say, ugh, oh, gee, I don't like that. That's okay that you don't like that. The second step is, where do you want to go? And how would you like to get there? And that's when we start putting in place that you not ask for what you think you can get, which most of us do in our lives. We don't ask for what we really want because we're afraid it's not going to happen. I catch myself doing that. So instead, I invite my clients to ask for what they really want, not what they think they can get. And then finally, the third step that we take together is the action. And the action is one baby step. What baby step can we begin with? Can we begin with so that you're starting on the way to designing a life that gives you not just fulfillment, but profound fulfillment? That is what I love giving to my clients, that I see them happy with themselves, that they are fulfilled in whatever it is that you go through, and to get help from a being who has been there and who has techniques to free you from the stuckness, to free you from the trauma that has been controlling you, from emotional states that have been controlling you, gives you like this impetus to move forward so much faster, Hans. It makes things move. It's like shaking you to the core, and it moves, it releases things.
It's a great offer, I'll say, because there are a lot of things you're offering. And I right now I'm thinking of few people I'm gonna suggest them to, go and talk to you.
Wonderful.
So in the coming few days, maybe they'll be reaching out or whatever. So that's so awesome. We'll keep it short, Adria. We may,
Yes.
it was lovely talking to you, lovely knowing about your story. I know you have gone through a lot of things which we have not been able to discuss here.
We
Your
could go on for 7 hours, Hans. I'm sure we could.
um, and you have to leave your darling husband, right, at a part of life. That's the most emotional thing which can happen in your life. Your partner, where that's basically you spend more than 70% of your life with your husband or your partner.
But the
And
good news is he's happy now, and he is so level and balanced, and I'm so happy for him. And that we share that and we laugh about it, and he's happy. So I am at peace, absolutely at peace. I really am.
thank you so much, Adria, for jumping on this podcast. I really enjoyed spending this time with you, and
Me
I'm pretty
too.
sure the audience is gonna love this podcast, have a lot of value from it. And um, so for the people who want to reach out to you, want to know more about you, give them a direction where they can find you.
Yes, they can go to Adria Firestone, which is my name. You see that below, adriafirestone.com and slash TMRT, TMRT. And you will find the modality that I was talking about. And also you can click on a little on a link, on a button, and you'll be able to arrange a quick 20-minute session with me so we can get to know each other and find out what it is you need. I would absolutely love that. I look forward to meeting you, because when it's time for our hearts and souls to come together, it's because there's a reason for it. And I embrace that.
Yeah, I'll highly suggest people who are watching this, just to go and book your meeting and have a chat. Like, just take a look if you guys are a good fit, or if Adria can help you out, if there is any match between you. It would be great.
Absolutely.
Tag and they
I'm also on LinkedIn. You can find me on LinkedIn. You can find me on Facebook. So that's easy. I also have a YouTube channel. So
awesome.
yeah,
I put the links inside this video for the people who want to reach out to you.
beautiful.
So thank you so much, Adria. And it was lovely having you inside the
Hans,
podcast.
I just feel so close to you. I feel like I've known you for a million years. You're just such a beautiful being. Thank you for this. It was great fun. It was enormous fun.